Alright, so I'm back, and today I wanted to do kind of another rant of the week. First and foremost, apologies to everybody on delays on videos. It's been, again, super hectic at work. Details that I'm actually not allowed to talk about on any platform. So, it's been pretty nutty, and we'll see how the chips land on that front. But yeah, it's been pretty hectic, and I don't know how things are going to turn out. But anyway, that's a different matter for a different day. So yeah, my apologies for delays on videos. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I've said it dozens of times on here. I'll say it again. It's not a matter of I don't want to do videos. It's just the career has to come first. It always has to come first before toys. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts or ways around it. It has to be number one. Otherwise, I can't get the toys to look at. I don't make money on YouTube. I know some reviewers do, but I do not. I don't make a penny on this stuff for the most part. I think I'm almost to $100 in 10 months. So it's pretty much just nothing. So anyway, and it also, there's been kind of a low on figures that I want. The last ones we looked at was the Jazz that I finally got, and the, I can't remember his name, the Streetwise. So we looked at those. I do have the DX9 Omega Supreme to look at, as well as some Marvel Legends and stuff. Nothing too spectacular. So hopefully, if I have a chance to, I will get into that as soon as possible. But, so that's just a quick update on things. But for the actual point of this video, I had a number of people reach out to me in the recent past to ask me what my thoughts are on the new animated movie that's coming out. Also, around the exact same time people were asking me that, I'm late to the game, if you guys couldn't tell, was the trailer 2 for the Rise of the Beast, and I had a couple people ask me what I thought about that. So, let's get into it. So as far as the Rise of the Beast, or whatever they're calling it, I still don't care. I do not care. I've said this before here. We've talked about this movie before already. I really liked the first 3 live-action Transformer movies. Those, I thought they were a lot of fun. I know, like Revenge of the Fallen wasn't everyone's favorite, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I think Dark of the Moon was the best of the 3. And yeah, it was just great trilogy. But I have not liked anything since then. Not one thing have I enjoyed from them. It's been just, I hated Last Night and Age of Extinction. I hated those movies. They're absolute hot garbage. The Bumblebee, admittedly, it's better than those two. It's almost, I'd put it almost as good as the first one, but the series as a whole has lost all of its charm for me because of how bad Age of Extinction and Last Night were. So there's no way I can't see past it to enjoy Bumblebee. Plus, it wasn't all that great, and there wasn't a lot of Transformers in it, except for that little tiny segment at the beginning where you're on Cybertron. So yeah, I have zero want to see this movie. I probably will eventually see it. I'm probably gonna wait till it shows up on demand. I think it'll probably pop up on Paramount Plus before anywhere else. So that's probably where I'm going to watch it. So I don't, if anybody wants to spoil it, go right ahead. I don't care. I think the toy lines, the toys for the thing looks like garbage. I don't like the character designs of anybody in there. The funny thing is, and I have to point this out, is, I said this in the last video of this, and I was corrected by people, that this is still tied into the Bayverse. And everyone's like, no, it's a reboot. Now the producers are saying, yes, it is a prequel to the Bay movies. So it's a sequel to Bumblebee, a prequel to the first live-action Transformer movies. It's in that universe. They said it. It's done. That's what it is. And it's funny because it's like I kept saying that, and everyone's like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, no, it is. You can't have something tied to something that's tied to something and say that they have nothing to do with each other, because the Bumblebee movie, even if it was a reboot, which it wasn't, it's still the character design of Bumblebee is still the character design of Bumblebee in the other live action movies. Yes, it's a different car, but it's still the same design. It's still the same character. Talks through the radio. It looks like a freaking mess. So it's like there's no way around, you can't tie it in like that and then say that has nothing to do with it and then make a sequel to that movie and say that this is a reboot, but that one was a prequel. That's not how this works. It's all one big trail. So yeah, there's that point. I also want to comment on the, a lot of people I've seen a lot of people upset that the Wheeljack doesn't look like the Wheeljack from the Bumblebee movie, and they're like, it just doesn't look very G1. And I'm like, are you surprised? I mean, who's surprised by this? Seriously, it's been 16 years, I think. It's like these things. It's like you guys forget that this is Bayverse. Of course, it's not going to look very G1. Of course, they're going to care. The only thing about the Bumblebee movie that most G1 fans actually liked was the sequence on Cybertron where they shoehorned it in, mind you, a G1-esque looking characters to try and appease the crowd. But notice, once you get past that sequence, nothing else in that movie looks G1. Not one thing. So, by sitting there saying like, oh, this is the most G1 accurate movie, it's like, no, it's not. It's a G1 accuracy scene in a movie. So everything else is Bayverse. And moving forward, everything's going to be Bayverse. I think everything looks like garbage. It doesn't appeal to me at all anymore. I also, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I think it's stupid that they got Ron Perlman as Primal when the actor Gary Chalk, I think, correct me if I'm wrong on that one, is still very much active. So it's like, and I said this in the Kingdom show, I would have paid big money to hear, the original Megatron, original Optimus Prime, the original Beast Wars Megatron, and the original Optimus Primal from Beast Wars. I would have paid big money to see those four big actors on, just to hear their voices together. I would have paid a ton of money to see that. I thought that would have been great. And the fact that they've missing this opportunity yet again for a big budget movie, I think that's stupid. And in all likelihood, my guess is Primal's gonna die. Primal will die at the end of this movie. He'll probably sacrifice himself to save Prime, and it will. And that's probably why the original voice actor didn't want to come in. He probably was like, I would love to play Primal again, but I don't want to play him to his death. Why would I want to do that? That's not true to the character or something like that. So that's my first prediction for this movie, is that Primal will die by the end of it, most likely sacrificing his life for Optimus Prime. I also think that it's really, really stupid to have Unicron in the trailer, because be sitting there saying like, oh, this is part of the continuity, but here's Unicron, he's attacking at what looks like Earth. Who knows? Maybe it's a flashback or something like that. But it's like, but Unicron's already in the series and he is Earth. So why are they bringing Unicron to Earth? Unless they're doing some Pinky in the Brain shit where Unicron attacks Earth, getting ready to destroy the Earth, so the Maximals and Autobots team up to make a papier-mâché version of the Earth over Unicron and somehow trick all the humans to go off of Earth onto the papier-mâché Earth before it destroys. If you remember that episode, you yeah. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about with this movie? Yeah, the Unicron. I have zero care. I have nothing. I don't care. It won't make sense canon-wise, but nothing since Dark of the Moon has made sense canon-wise. They're just throwing shit at the screen and seeing what sticks. It's stupid. I also think that having Unicron as a villain is a stupid idea, if that's what it is. And I have zero interest in Scourge. Everyone's like, oh man, that Scourge looks awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about? He looks like shit. He looks like total shit. I don't care about it. It's just zero interest in it. I think at this point I would have preferred to see like a different type of villain. Like, let's call back to the Beast Wars. We got Beast Wars stuff in here. Why we don't have Predacons, I don't know, but whatever. But what if we did the Vok? That would have been great. Something different. Because here's an alien race that's like not a Transformer. And it's not really Transformer related. It just happened to show up on Earth, or was on Earth when the Beast Wars arrived. So it's like, that would have been cool to see. Something different, just something outlandish kind of deal. What are the villains in this one? Not Terracons, are they? Whatever. I know some people are like, oh yeah, it's gonna be cool to see them, and it's like, all I remember is like, from last night, the Terrorcons, that formed Abominus, and Optimus Prime killed every one of them with one swipe of the sword. It's like, yeah, this is going to be the exception. Like, these villains are actually going to rule the screen, and we're going to watch them, and it's going to be great. It's this is the one. This is the first movie out of all 7 where the villains are going to own the screen. They'll get character development. It's like, guys, have you not watched any of this stuff? It's not going to be good. You're going to be disappointed. I pretty much guarantee you at this point. And then, alright, so on to my next prediction. So, the reviews are going to come in, and it's going to be like, the most explosive movie of the summer, the best one yet. That's what's going to be the first wave of reviews. 5 stars, it's a summertime adventure, a fun romp for the whole family. That's what the reviews are going to say at the start. Once the actual reviews start coming in from people like me and you, it's going to be like all of the other ones. People are going to be like, it was alright, I guess. Maybe. It had a moment. There's this one scene. And then my last prediction for the movie, just because, they're going to try to appease to someone out there with the G1 crowd. But also, following off of like the Spider-Man movie where there's all the Spider-Man in there. When Ned's like, "Hey, Peter," and they all look over at him. They're going to follow that sequence in this movie. This is my prediction. Someone's going to say, "Hey, Optimus." Primal and Prime are both going to look over at him and say, "What?" And then they'll go back, truck. The truck, not the monkey. That's my prediction. Someone's going to say that in the movie. Let me know, because I'm not going to go see it in the theater. But if any of you out there watching the movie that are going to go to theaters and see it, let me know in the comments below, or any of the comments of my video, if one of those 3 predictions come true. I'll know if the reviews come through, but the other 2. That Primal dies near the end, sacrificing for Prime, and someone says the stupid truck, not monkey joke. Those are my 3 predictions for this movie. Other than that, I think it's going to be garbage. And then as far as the animated movie goes, that's going to go to theaters next year or something like that. Again, I don't care. I just don't care. I cannot bring myself to care. I've heard that it's supposedly going to be a prequel. Yay! I'm done with prequels. And it's going to show the time of Optimus and Prime before the big war started. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, why? People are out there saying, like, "Oh, this is going to be great to finally see that." I'm like, what are you talking about? We've seen it. We've seen it so many fucking times. I'm over it. It was in the G1 cartoon. It was in the Marvel comics. It was in the IDW comics. It was in the Dreamwave comics. It was shown in Transformers Prime. It was shown in Transformers War for Cybertron games. It was the entire story arc of Siege. This is all when they were first rising to power. It was shown in the movies briefly. It's talked about in the movies, for sure. It's been a consistent thing since G1 that they show sequences, or at least scenes, maybe not a full story, of Optimus Prime and Megatron before the war started and how it all began. I've seen it. I don't care. It's just the same way. I don't really care to see Bruce Wayne's parents die again, or have it as a giant plot point in a new movie. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Uncle Ben dying again. I don't want to see Krypton blowing up. I don't care. I just don't care. And the fact that they have absolutely none of the original characters, voice actors coming back for the movie, again, I don't care. I don't think Chris Hemsworth is going to be a good Prime. I don't think Scarlett Johansson's going to be a good RC. I don't think Marvel Rejects are going to be good in a Transformer movie as voice actors. I don't see it. If you guys are excited for the movie, great, but I have zero interest in it. Until I see something on the TV and I see like a trailer of it and I go, "Ooh, you know what? That looks good." Until then, I'm not holding my breath on any of it. I don't think it's going to be good. It's probably going to be tied into the Bayverse shit, and it's going to make me roll my eyes because it's going to be yet one more prequel to a movie series that has no idea where it's going. Because we haven't seen anything since the last night on where the story of that is going to go. We left off with Cybertron floating above Earth and parts of Unicron sticking out of the ground. Where's the rest of that story? You're not going to tell it? Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, I don't give a shit. I just don't care. You cannot pay me to care about these movies. So there's my rant of the week. I think, I want to see a new story. I want to move forward. I want to see something different that we haven't seen 1,000 fucking times. You know what would have been cool for an animated movie? If they did it in G1 style and told a story that took place in between season 2 and the movie of the G1 show. Like, how did how did the Decepticons get back to Cybertron and conquer it? How did Autobots fortify Earth? That's the story I'm interested in. Where did all this, the movie Autobots come from? Blur, Cup, Ultra Magnus. Let's show that story as opposed to something we've already fucking seen. Or how about this? In the American cartoon, it ends on episode 3, season 4, or episode 4, whatever. The end of the Headmaster story arc, and you last see Galvatron and Scorponok floating off into space. That's the end of the American story arc. I know the Japanese one goes on for years after, but what happens to the American story that gets it from that point to Beast Wars? That would be a story I would like. Yes, technically it's a prequel, but at the same time, it's a sequel to the original story, and it could fill in that gap. Let's tell that story. Or how about what happened to Cybertron after the whole planet gets reformatted at the end of Beast Machines? Because that was the actual end of G1. What happens after that? I know there's Transteca that was talked about. That was going to be the next series, but then they decided to move to RID instead. But I wouldn't have mind seeing some of these big villains and names from the G1 in this weird, kind of half beast, half vehicle. I wanted to see that. I was looking forward to, because it had Soundwave and Starscream and Megatron. Let's see what happens. It'd be cool to see Cheetor leading the Maximals, because he was second in command of the Beast Wars. When the Beast Machines ended. So here's Cheetor. Leading the day, and there's G1 Optimus or G1 Megatron, who's leading a new version of Decepticons with Obsidian and Stryker. That would have been a great story. But instead we're going to get, a prequel to a fucking story we already know. Anyway, I guess that's all I got for the moment. So, yeah. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on the trailer 2 and the new animated movie that's coming out.